While analyzing every possible detail of Breath of the Wild from the official trailer and hours of gameplay that we have seen, we have uncovered some secrets that Nintendo didn't mean for us to notice. One of these being an idea returning from past Zelda games, a giant floating city in the sky. The important question here is, what does this mean for the game? Will it be another town or village? Will it have its own dungeon? How does it connect to the story, and what race will be living there? Join myself and RMFH Gaming as we uncover the truth behind this location. But before we get started, please click that subscribe and thumb up button so we know to keep making videos like this where we analyze and give our thoughts and opinions on topics just like this covering Breath of the Wild. Recent videos include timeline placement, how we obtain the Master Sword, how we find Link's green tunic, and who the old man really is. So be sure to check out those videos after this one, all of which will be linked in the description.
To start off, a city hovering over Hyrule isn't anything new. We have the Palace of the Winds from Minish Cap, the City in the Sky from Twilight Princess, and most recently Skyloft from Skyward Sword. One important thing to note is that each of these locations, while similar, have played completely different roles in their games and contained different races. For instance, in Twilight Princess, it was home to the Uka tribe and held one of the final dungeons of the game. In Skyward Sword, it was the central location of the game, home to the ancestors of the Hylians, and held the Triforce within a secret dungeon that was in front of our eyes the entire time. With Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword being the two most recent home console Zelda titles, it would make sense that Nintendo would yet again bring back the concept of a floating city or dungeon. However, this time, with the land of Hyrule over 12 times the size of the overworld of Twilight Princess, the thought that we have a floating city to add to all this is just crazy.
This brings up our first question. How will we even get there? In Twilight Princess, Nintendo, for some reason, thought it would be a great and sensible idea to just launch us there in a cannon. In Skyward Sword, we are introduced to the Loftwings as our method of transportation. So will Nintendo come up with some crazy idea on how to transport us back and forth between the floating island and the land below? Or will we see the return of the Loftwing? As grand as this game seems, it seems the second option is the logical choice. However, the Loftwing may not only be used for traveling back and forth between the two locations. We may also use them to travel quickly to higher or otherwise unreachable locations like the Peak of Death Mountain. Just imagine flying over this huge expanding world of Hyrule on a Loftwing and taking in all the different landscapes. Also, we see the final boss, Ganon, flying around Hyrule Castle. Just as in Skyward Sword where the Loftwing is used during the boss fight against the parasite infecting Levias, we may use our Loftwing to help us in the fight against Ganon. Sword and arrow combat on opponent is amazing by itself, but flying hundreds of feet above Hyrule on a Loftwing while in combat would just be epic.
My next question is, what race will we find living on or occupying the city in the sky? Since we have seen the Koroks made a return, the obvious answer is that this could be a new home for the Rito tribe. However, it is still possible that we could easily find the Uku living here once again. Personally, I think the most interesting would be to see some Skyloftians still living on this island. Third, I want to know what purpose this floating island will serve. Will it be a location important to the game with a few side quests, or will it just hold a dungeon? I would love for it to be similar to Skyloft and have all three. In a perfect world, it would be a giant village like Skyloft, where people live and you can interact with them to begin side quests. But it also contains a dungeon of its own, its very own City in the Sky dungeon, or Skykeep. Finally, I want to know what connection this place has with the land below. Twilight Princess did an amazing job with tying the city in the sky in with the rest of the world. The Uku were present in each of the dungeons, and finally we were sent on what seemed like a side quest until we found out it was linked to a way of actually reaching the next dungeon. Hopefully, this game will be able to do an even better job of linking the two. These are just my thoughts and theories. I would love to know yours. So please, subscribe and comment below and let me know what topic you would like to see us discuss on the next video. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to check out my others where I discuss the timeline placement of Breath of the Wild, how we obtain the Master Sword, tunic, and more, and if you really want to help support this channel, check out my Patreon where you can get exclusive content and rewards. And as always, thank you for watching.